Well, at this time, Mario Barrios is going to fight Manny Pacquiao in July.
At 46 years old, most boxers are long retired, either enjoying a peaceful life or working behind the commentary desk. But not Manny "Pac-Man" Pacquiao. The legendary 8-division world champion is once again defying age and expectations by stepping back into the ring for a high-stakes comeback fight against rising welterweight star Mario Barrios. Inside his intense training camp, Pacquiao is proving that his speed, discipline, and warrior spirit remain intact. His last professional bout was more than just a fight. It was a message to the world that true greatness doesn't come with an expiration date. Eddie Hearn believes that Manny Pacquiao, even at his age, still possesses the skills to defeat most fighters outside the top 15 to 20 in the welterweight division. While he acknowledges Pacquiao's decline due to age and inactivity, Hearn emphasizes that the veteran's experience and ring IQ continue to make him a dangerous opponent. From a commercial standpoint, Hearn sees Pacquiao's return as a smart move, especially against someone like Mario Barrios, a talented fighter, though not on the same elite level as Terence Crawford or Jaron "Boots" Ennis. However, Hearn also warns that Pacquiao's extended absence from the ring could affect his performance, suggesting that while a comeback is possible, it must be handled with caution.
147, kind of a weird spot right now. We're looking at Manny Pacquiao potentially facing Mario Barrios. What do you think of that fight?
Yeah, I think that, it's a very contentious subject. Like, people moaning about Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao is still good enough to beat most fighters in the top 20 at 147 pounds. He's clearly not the fighter that he once was. You're not going to be at that age. My problem is that he's been inactive for quite a long time. Like, we were talking about fighting him with Conor Benn maybe 6 months ago or a year, and every month or 3 months or 6 months that passes, you do become a lot older. So, I guess there's two questions. One is, should he be fighting again? And at the end of the day, if he's good enough to beat everybody outside of the top 20 in the world, then why not? But should he be fighting for the world title? I guess that's another question. In the commercial world of boxing, the answer is yeah, probably. In the ratings world and activity world, the answer is probably not.
Do you think it's strange that he's coming off the couch and getting a title fight like that?
I think when you've achieved what he's achieved, you've always got the right to do things a little bit differently to others. And with all due respect, Barrios is not Boots, and Barrios is not Crawford. And that's why we pushed the Conor Benn fight. Conor Benn, like, his best win is against Algieri or Van Heerden. So actually Pacquiao is a step up. And people are still complaining at me for mentioning that fight, like Conor Benn is Boots. But he still hasn't had those wins yet.
Manny Pacquiao's last professional bout took place in August 2021, where he faced Yordenis Ugas and suffered a unanimous decision loss. Since then, he has remained absent from the ring. Promoter Eddie Hearn has noted that extended inactivity can be particularly detrimental for aging fighters. While Pacquiao's desire to return is admirable, the physical demands of boxing at the elite level are immense. At 46, the challenge of regaining peak conditioning and competing with younger, active opponents is no small task. Still, Pacquiao's vast experience and ring IQ could make him a dangerous contender in the welterweight division. His comeback bout against Mario Barrios for the WBC welterweight title in July 2025 highlights his unwavering ambition to perform at boxing's highest stage. However, the outcome of such a return remains uncertain, given the grueling nature of professional boxing and the inevitable impact of age. In September 2021, Manny Pacquiao officially announced his retirement from boxing to focus on his political career, specifically his candidacy for the Philippine presidency in the 2022 elections. At 42, after his unanimous decision loss to Yordenis Ugas, Pacquiao acknowledged the physical toll the sport had taken, citing leg cramps during the fight as a clear sign of his body's limitations. Despite his deep love for boxing, he recognized the need to prioritize his health and political responsibilities. In his farewell statement, Pacquiao expressed heartfelt gratitude for the sport that had lifted him from poverty and allowed him to become a symbol of hope and inspiration. He stated, "It is difficult for me to accept that my time as a boxer is over. Today, I am announcing my retirement." His decision marked the conclusion of an extraordinary 26-year career, during which he became the only boxer in history to win world titles in 8 different weight divisions.
Pacquiao is now planning to run for president in his native Philippines this upcoming May. But Shannon, how will you remember Manny as a boxer?
Historically great fighter.
Good for you.
The only fighter to win 8 world titles. I mean, Skip, he started out boxing, he was 106 pounds, won a title at, I think, 112, and went all the way up to
108 first.
went all the way up to 154.
It's impossible. It's just...
I don't believe, I feel very comfortable and said I don't believe we'll ever see that again, Skip.
We'll never see it again.
And it wasn't like he was fighting bums. When you go back and look at Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales and Oscar Larios and De La Hoya and Hatton and Cotto, Margarita, Mosley, Timothy Bradley, Mayweather, Skip. I mean, what do you got to say? He was a champion in 4 different decades.
Yep.
Fighter of the year. First ballot Hall of Fame. He's great. He fought everybody.
Stephen A. Smith shared his thoughts on Manny Pacquiao's retirement in a brief video segment praising the Filipino icon's legendary career. He emphasized not only Pacquiao's historic achievement of winning 8 world titles, but also the universal respect he earned for his humility and drive beyond the ring. Now at 46, Pacquiao is preparing to return and challenge WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios in July 2025, marking his first fight since his 2021 loss to Yordenis Ugas. Despite a 4-year absence, Pacquiao is determined to add another title to his already monumental legacy. The fight is set for July 19, 2025 at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, pending the outcome of Pacquiao's Senate re-election in the Philippines on May 12th. Barrios, 29, holds a professional record of 29 wins, 2 losses and 1 draw, with 18 victories by knockout. He became the full WBC champion in June 2024 after Terence Crawford moved up to the 154 lb division and has since defended the title with a split draw against Abel Ramos in November 2024. While some fans are thrilled by Pacquiao's comeback, others question whether he can still compete at the sport's highest level. WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman defended granting Pacquiao a title shot, citing rules that allow former champions of notable stature to request such opportunities. Still, this fight isn't just about a belt. It's about legacy. Pacquiao's resilience, determination, and enduring fighting spirit continue to inspire. If victorious, he would become the oldest welterweight champion in history, further solidifying his place among boxing's all-time greats.
In a world title fight against the WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios, date yet to be confirmed, venue yet to be confirmed, but it looks like it will be in July and in Las Vegas. Massive news announced yesterday by the WBC president, and you know, it was so out of left field. You know, Pacquiao hasn't fought professionally since 2021. That was 4 years ago. He was 41 at the time. And of course he lost to Yordenis Ugas, the very, very tricky Cuban fighter, convincingly lost to Yordenis Ugas. And in that fight, 4 years ago, as I say,
Trainer Greg Hackett didn't hold back when voicing his opinion on Manny Pacquiao's surprising return against Mario Barrios. Speaking bluntly, Hackett stated that had this fight taken place a few years ago, Pacquiao would have easily defeated Barrios. But now, the circumstances are different. Hackett stressed that this version of Pacquiao is far removed from the explosive force fans remember. At 45, the Filipino legend isn't expected to possess the same speed, endurance, or killer instinct that once made him feared in the ring. Hackett labeled the bout a money fight rather than a competitive showdown between 2 fighters at their prime. According to him, it's more of a spectacle than a sporting contest.
I don't like Pacquiao trying to hit a lick, you know what I mean? But Pacquiao not Pacquiao no more. It's tough to go against him in this situation, because if it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios. But right now, Barrios, with his momentum, might run and beat Pacquiao up. I mean, not knock him out, but, you know what I mean, beat him on the cards, beat him behind that jab.
Similar to like Ugas, the Ugas fight?
Yeah, like on shit like that. It's a good fight, but it's more of a good fight for Barrios. Pacquiao don't need it, but Pacquiao want to come back, and he want to come back with a bang, so, I mean, why not? If he can make it happen, make it happen. Because I would love, if Barrios was my fighter, I would love to have a Pacquiao on the record. I mean, I would love something like that. And that's a fight you know you got to get ready for.
The Filipino boxing icon is set to face WBC welterweight champion Mario Barrios this July, marking his first professional fight since August 2021. The bout was confirmed by WBC President Mauricio Sulaiman, who described it as a tremendous fight. During an interview with Boxing King Media, for boxing fans around the world, this event is a major moment as one of the sport's greatest legends returns to center stage. Pacquiao's last appearance ended in a unanimous decision loss to Yordenis Ugas. Soon after, he retired to focus on politics, including an unsuccessful bid for the Philippine presidency in 2022. Even while away from boxing, he remained active in public service and philanthropic work. While rumors of a comeback had circulated for years, this fight with Barrios carries particular significance. Barrios is a strong and skilled fighter who currently holds the prestigious green and gold WBC title. For Pacquiao, this isn't just a return, it's another opportunity to make history. Should he win, he would become the oldest welterweight champion in history, adding yet another accolade to his legendary resume. The fight has reignited the debate over whether elite fighters can truly defy age and time. While critics question the physical toll such a comeback might impose, others argue that Pacquiao's ring intelligence, experience, and conditioning still make him a serious threat to younger challengers. Regardless of the outcome, his return has already created a buzz, rekindling excitement among his global fanbase and writing a new chapter in an iconic career. Speculation is also growing that Pacquiao's bout with Barrios could be more than just a comeback. It might be the strategic first step toward one final mega fight. Rumors suggest that if Pacquiao defeats Barrios and reclaims the WBC welterweight title, he may pursue a showdown with Gervonta "Tank" Davis, one of today's biggest boxing stars. A clash between Pacquiao, a living legend, and Davis, a prime knockout artist, would be a massive pay-per-view draw. This has led some to question whether Barrios was selected carefully as a strategic opponent. While Barrios is respected, he isn't seen as invincible, possibly making him an ideal opponent for a well-prepared Pacquiao looking to make a triumphant return. The idea is that a win here not only earns Pacquiao another belt, but also builds the narrative for a high-stakes generational showdown with Davis. If these rumors prove true, Pacquiao's return won't just be a farewell, it could be the first act of a calculated path toward one final blockbuster bout. For now, all attention turns to July to see whether the legend can once again defy time and expectations.
So basically, your interpretation is that the boxing public is upset because they believe Pacquiao's going to beat Barrios, which is going to lead to a Tank Pacquiao fight?
Yes, look around. Look in the Discord. That's what everybody, Pac and Tank, that's being set up.
Oh,
Tank
so,
and Pac.
okay, so they saying Barrios is the setup for Tank and Pac. I didn't see that, but your argument makes sense. If he beats Barrios, there's nothing wrong with him fighting Tank. But the issue is he don't deserve the Barrios fight off of 3 years off and a loss to Ugas.
And that's Crimea River, man. That's what boxing is. But longer deserve a Canelo fight.
If Pacquiao defeats Barrios, a potential clash with Gervonta Davis could instantly become one of the most highly anticipated fights in recent boxing history. The storyline practically writes itself. Two dynamic southpaws from different generations, both known for their knockout power, blistering speed, and magnetic charisma, meeting under the brightest lights. On one side stands Pacquiao, the 8-division world champion and global icon, returning to prove he still belongs among boxing's elite. On the other is Gervonta "Tank" Davis, the undefeated phenom and one of the sport's biggest current stars, eager to add a living legend to his resume. This fight would transcend boxing, attracting not only die-hard fans, but also mainstream media and casual viewers worldwide. With both fighters commanding massive fan bases and enormous pay-per-view appeal, the matchup would likely become a global spectacle rivaling the biggest bouts of the past decade. Stylistically, the fight is electric. Two aggressive, fast, and explosive finishers capable of ending a bout with a single shot. It would be a true old lion versus young king scenario. Whether it turns out to be a symbolic passing of the torch or a final masterclass from a legend, the stakes and drama would be sky-high. Max Kellerman has also weighed in, making a compelling argument for Pacquiao as a legitimate candidate for the greatest pound-for-pound boxer in history. While he concedes that Sugar Ray Robinson remains the traditional gold standard due to his skill, dominance, and longevity, Kellerman contends that Pacquiao's unprecedented resume demands serious consideration. He notes that how one defines greatness, either by peak dominance or career-long achievements, can tilt the debate. Robinson might hold the edge in terms of raw dominance, but Pacquiao's accomplishments across 8 weight classes are unmatched. Kellerman emphasizes how Pacquiao not only moved up in weight repeatedly, but consistently defeated elite opponents while maintaining his speed and power. His longevity, adaptability, and sustained success into his 40s further cement his legacy. While Robinson may still wear the crown in many eyes, Kellerman believes Pacquiao's body of work places him firmly in the conversation.
Has a case for greatest fighter, pound for pound, who ever lived. Think about, by the way, I don't think he wins that argument. Sugar Ray Robinson is safely ensconced in that position. But Henry Armstrong, Muhammad Ali, Harry Greb, Sam Langford, Floyd Mayweather, Pernell Whitaker, whoever else you want to mention, put Pacquiao's resume up to those guys.
Manny Pacquiao's peak as a professional boxer is widely regarded as the period between 140 and 147 lbs, a stretch during which he delivered some of the most dominant performances of his career. His fusion of blinding speed, explosive power, and relentless aggression overwhelmed opponents who were often naturally bigger, amplifying his legend. This era also coincided with the peak public demand for a super fight between Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, as both were at the height of their powers in the same weight class. Many boxing analysts lean toward Mayweather in a hypothetical matchup, citing his natural size advantage and unparalleled defensive prowess. However, Pacquiao's ability to rise through weight classes and still dominate world-class competition gave his pound-for-pound argument considerable weight. Unlike many fighters who lose effectiveness when moving up, Pacquiao retained his explosiveness and remained competitive against much larger adversaries. His success across 8 weight divisions, particularly his run at 140 to 147 lbs, showcased a level of adaptability, grit, and all-around skill rarely seen in the sport. This period helped solidify his status as one of boxing's most accomplished and universally respected figures, with a resume that continues to influence debates about the greatest fighters in history.
I had a way of ranking baseball players that I came across as a kid and thought, that's really smart. You have to rank them at their best, and then also over the course of their careers. Because when you have that argument, are you talking about who accomplished the most, or what heights did they reach? What peak did they reach? Take either for Pacquiao. Take his peak. Was it at 140 pounds when he obliterated Ricky Hatton, Miguel Cotto, and then Oscar De La Hoya, though that was at 147? Was that Pacquiao's peak? Because remember, that's when the Mayweather-Pacquiao hype actually reached fever pitch. Oh my God, these are two of the best fighters we've ever seen, and they're both in their primes.